Hello and welcome to a spot of positivity. Good to have you join me again today in my kitchen. It's my Thought Spot Thursday, and today I thought I would talk about resourcefulness and using things to the full extent and not wasting stuff. So yesterday went to the fruiteria here in Cyprus, fruit and vegetables, and we bought plums. So here we go, look at this, all these plums, whoa. And that's some of the plums. There's some other ones that are bigger, fatter. And yeah, it's funny. I meant to start with this a rant. I'll think of a rant afterwards, but this is not my rant. Just all the things you can do with one kind of fruit. And so I thought I would tell you a few of the things I've done. To start with, I put them all in the sink, washed them off, all of them, and dried them. And the ones that were really, really ripe, and some of them are a bit mushy because this came from the outside of the shop where you could just get a whole bunch for a really good deal. So a few of them were soft already, but nothing was rotten or anything, it just soft. So the ones that were really soft, I took the stone out and I put them, I made smoothies. And my smoothies, I'm giving them a name, plummy. So it's like a plum smoothie, and it's kind of a funny name. In Scotland they have a kind of candy or sweet called a sour plum. And so I thought plummy is kind of fun for a little plum smoothie. So what I did with that is I took 4 or 5 plums, a good heaping spoon of yogurt, good heaping spoon of honey, a little splosh of vanilla, a little bit of water, and some ice cubes, and I whizzed it all up in the blender, and it was really, really nice actually. A really interesting thing. I don't know what it was with plums. I was trying to figure this out later on. We have peach things, apple things, like flavors, general flavors they use for drinks, apple things or drinks or desserts or whatever, or muffins, or, there's some that are really kind of standbys, like raspberry, strawberry, banana, peach, blueberry. For some reason the plum gets a bad rap, or it gets ignored. So it is kind of an interesting flavor. It goes very well with vanilla. So that was one thing I did. Smoothies. So that was a good one for my first things. And then I sorted a bunch out, and I put a bunch in a pot to make jam. Now, you might think you'd have to take all the stones out. Excuse the loud noise of construction outside my house here. You might think you have to take all the stones out before you make jam, but actually you can boil the plums whole with sugar, and and you can take the stones out afterwards. I digress. I'll go back to the jam in a minute. The second thing I did, I put some in the pot for the jam, and then I thought I'd freeze some. So the ones I froze were intact enough that I could cut them. I cut them in half. I basically do this kind of thing where you put it in half, and then you gently go like that, and hopefully it comes out very nicely on the other side. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. This one is a little bit of a twist one, but there we go. So without losing very much of the plum, I had them in half or in quarters, and I put them in a tray in the freezer, not in a bag in the freezer, in a tray in the freezer, and that way they don't all mush together in a bag. So once they're frozen on a tray, which they are, I did that yesterday, so we'll just take some out. Woo-hoo. I'm going to see you in a second. Here are some that I froze yesterday. Now they're quite nice and solid. And what I do then, at that point, I can stick them in my bag. Recycling a bag here. You just pop your tray in like that. And you see, I have plums here to use for, sorry, the noise. Little thing on them. I have plums to use for cakes or anything like that, and they're not stuck together. Cakes, different things. Okay, so that is freezing them, smoothies, jam. I'll go to jam now. So I was very busy yesterday and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with the jam because it sounded like a lot of work to do late in the evening, and so I stuck them in the slow cooker. I put my slow cooker on medium for a few hours and then I stuck it on low for the night, and I came up this morning, lovely smell in the house, really nice smell. And now I talked to my mom on the phone and she said what she does to that kind of thing is she actually waits for it to cool. She washes her hands very well. You can take most of your stones out with a slotted spoon, but if you have to get some few out by hand, that's fine because your hands are clean. It sounds a bit disgusting, but it works because you don't want to have jars of jam with a big plum stone floating around. So right now, I'll show you my slow cooker here. So it's all full of these plums, which I just put in with sugar, a little less sugar than I had. I don't know if you use, yeah, there it is, the mixture. A little bit less sugar than I did by the weight of the plums, and it's jam sugar I use, so that has pectin in it. And at the moment, it's quite a liquidy thing, and it's cooling down. So I think I'm actually gonna add some more sugar. Now see, I didn't even do anything, but the stones are coming out nicely. And I may be able to do the spoon, which would be preferable to my hands, I think. I'll just listen to Mum because my mum has lots of experience. It's a very dark color. It's a really, really quite dark color. When you can compare that to the color of the plum, and it's caramelized really nicely. So, idea number 4. Smoothies, freezing for later use, and jam. And then, of course, I can't live without having a cake or two. So I will also use some of them to chop up and put in a cake, just as they are fresh. The rest will have to wait for another time. But the basic thing is I don't want to have them all going bad on my counter. My family aren't likely to binge eat on plums. It's just not going to happen. I kind of do it actually. They're nice and good for you and everything. But anyway, they're very handy in something. Last night I made French toast. So we had a kind of bigger, more savory lunch, and for the evening meal I made French toast and I made a sauce of them. I put plums, a bit of, I would have used corn flour. I didn't have corn flour. I used a bit of flour, a bit of sugar, and a little tiny bit of water, but they have so much liquid in them. And I just cooked that together a little bit, and I made a nice sauce for my French toast. Would work for pancakes as well. Back for 1 second to the cake thing. You can use plums in a recipe that would ask for rhubarb or apples or peaches. You can substitute them for a lot of things. I would use them with the cake that I made last week with the mixed berries in it. That works very, very well. But I'm going to make a cake tomorrow to show you, so that will be kind of fun. But last but not least, I think it'd be really fun to try doing plum chutney. So I'm going to give that a whirl. I'm sure there's loads of recipes for that. Plums, probably onions, vinegar, sugar, and some spices. So that is going to be really yummy. And we don't get chutneys very much here, so it's always a treat to have a jar of chutney. So I will let you know how that goes. Anyway, that's just some ideas what to do with plums or any other fruit that you have. Suddenly you have plenty and you have to think of things to do right away. Freezing is easy to keep it, for another time, and of course the jam stuff easy to keep for another time. And I will also tell you some hints on how to preserve your jam at a later time. But you can have it, you can make jam jars that will last for years and years if you know how to seal them properly, and they don't have to just sit in your fridge. They can be preserved properly and sealed. So I will let you know about that another time. I hope you have a really, really nice day, and thank you for joining me on A Spot of Positivity. Please like and subscribe and click the notification bell. Bing bong. See you soon.